Hiya everyone, so I am coming at you live from my bed because I couldn't be bothered to get up. And also, if I don't film this intro, I will read all these books and it won't be a video. Plus, this British winter weather right now, it is dark before I wake up, which normally it is, but anyway. Let's get into it. So this year haven't been reading as much, but I really want to make sure that going into the new year, I let myself in easy so that it's easier to get on a roll with reading. I don't think I did that last year. I think I kind of challenged myself from the outset. So then I was kind of like, oh, I don't really want to do this. So all of that being said, I am in this video reading from my favourite authors. The first book, yes, I have read. It's quite funny that I've read it, but the fact that this is from Philippa Gregory, who's my most read author, possibly one of my favourite authors, but I'm not 100% on that, is crazy. Like, it's crazy that I've already read a book for this challenge, but I have read The Berlin Traitor by Philippa Gregory. I give this book 4 stars. I knew kind of from the outset of this year that it was coming out, but I totally forgot it already came out. So when it came around to me doing this video and planning for it, I was like, gosh, I need to read this as soon as possible. First book out the gate, it needs to be. So this book deals with Jane Berlin, who was the sister-in-law of Anne Boleyn. She was a lady-in-waiting for Catherine of Aragon, lady-in-waiting for Anne Boleyn, lady-in-waiting for Jane Seymour, wow, I nearly forgot her, Anne of Cleves and Catherine Howard. And Catherine Howard, when her turn came around, that's when Jane Seymour got in trouble. But other than that, she did 5 out of 6 wives with a tyrant as a king, where he was executing literally everyone. It could be his auntie, it could be his wife, anyone could get it. So like, the fact that she was such a power player behind the scenes, and she still survived as long as she did is crazy. I ended up giving it a 3 stars, which I don't know what my thinking was with that rating, because it could have been a 4 stars. But my feelings after this book were, I love the fact that it showed her as this silent player in the game. You know, literally the Game of Thrones, which is inspired from this piece of history. I love that it showed her as that kind of silent power player who was there. She was not pivotal in a lot of these things, as, you know, some names that come to your mind are, but she had a view of it, and she had an understanding of what was going on. And this book paints her as someone who was somewhat crucial to that. And I also like, for me, someone who obviously is interested in this period of time, that it gave me an understanding of kind of the bystanders' view on it. Obviously, this is not a memoir by Jane Berlin. We ain't got that. But I know people don't like Philippa Gregory, but I understand that she's writing historical fiction. But equally, I understand that she's looking into texts and sources from the time, and as well as contemporary sources. So I get that, and I think I got a really good understanding of it. I will say the ending for me, I love the fact that you see this woman who really understands court life and what she needs to do in order to protect herself, because she has been in survival mode from the second she was married, literally. But for me, I would have liked a little bit more of the ending to be documented in this book, but I also would have liked a little bit more of seeing some of those peaks and valleys. I just felt like I said, she's a bystander, so it was very documented, but I would have liked more interaction. So yeah, I ended up giving that 3 stars, which I might go back and change that rating a little bit. I might not. It is what it is. So the next book I will be reading is Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid, Also, like halfway through this book, I want to say at this point, I can already tell you with certainty that this will break my heart, unfortunately. Like, when I first started this book, I was like, maybe I don't get it, maybe it's not for me. And then I got it. And I got involved, and I said I wouldn't. What Taylor Jenkins Reid does for me really well is she really gets me invested where I have no business in getting invested. Like, her book, Carrie Soto is back. Why do I care about tennis? Why? And this one, I'm like, oh no, NASA, space exploration, the stars in the night sky are the most important thing to happen since I was born. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, this is so important. So I will say I'm really enjoying this. I'm gonna predict 5 stars for out the gate. That's what I'm predicting. But we shall see. Let me have a look at what people are saying on Goodreads. For the most part, people are saying it's a 5 stars. For the most part, there's obviously some people being like, oh, 4.5, 4. But I think this is going to be perhaps my favourite book of the year if I really stick in there. So, very excited. And I'll let you out of my bed. I'll let you out of my room. And I'll see you soon. Hi, everyone. So, a quick check-in. I am almost finished with Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. When I tell you I've just clocked, like it's literally just hit my head, because I feel it is going to be heart-crushingly sad, the ending, because you are in 2 timelines. So you are in like kind of the past and then the present. I'm like getting more and more invested, and I have a sneaking suspicion everything is not going to be hunky-dory in the end. Like, everything is not going to be okay, and I'm not okay with that. Like, I actually might get really sad. So I am like kind of delaying finishing this, and I'm literally just listening to the audiobook. Shout out Taylor Jenkins Reid, you can put that together, because I am so invested. Because why the fuck do I care about NASA and the space and the stars? I'm looking out my window at night and being like, who is that? Because I'm really invested, and I hate that Taylor Jenkins Reid does this, actually. She makes me so invested in the characters, then also like the situation, the work experience, the work environment, I meant, that they work in. And like, I really care about everything now. I know it's gonna be sad, and I just realized that I've not been on it because it is gonna be sad, but I guess we have to get through it. That you can't go over it, you can't go under it, you can't go beside it, so you gotta go through it. Do you know what I mean? Damn, I just clocked that. Oh well, if it is sad, guess what? The people aren't real. It's a book, so it's fine. It's fine. He says now, but it should be fine. Hello, everyone. So I wanted to do a quick check-in of my reading and my reading so far. I have finished another book. I have finished Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I'm gonna be straight from the outset. I give this 4.5 stars. I don't know why I was so like into it, but I had such a hard time getting into the characters, because the nature of it is like a lesbian couple in the 80s, and they have to be very secretive about their relationship. I don't know if that is the reason why I felt like I couldn't really get to know my characters, because they were kind of guarded in that sense, that they really didn't let anyone know themselves. Like, obviously with each other they had like this barrier down kind of relationship, but I don't think, when I think about Joan, the main character, I don't think I really got to know her as much. It always seemed like she was kind of in a survival mode. Maybe it was just a part of her character that she never really like relaxed, because she looks after and kind of is the main caregiver for her niece. And that relationship is so cute. I think that
relationship between her and the niece was really well done. The relationship between her and her sister, who's the mother, the biological mother of the niece, Barbara, she's called, is really well done. But at the end of it, I just felt like I really didn't get to know John. And I wanted to get to know John. Vanessa, who is the love interest, is very cute. They deal with NASA and they both work for NASA, and it's like in the 80s NASA tries to get more like diverse people, but especially women, but people from different backgrounds. So John is someone who deals with like, I can't remember what she calls it, but she looks at like the planets and the stars and the stories behind them and stuff like that. And Vanessa is like a pilot. I don't know if she is a pilot actually. She wants to be a pilot, but with NASA and like with like the army, she wasn't able to be a military pilot, so that kind of throws some curveballs at her. Anyway, I found it very cute when they would speak about the planets and the stars and stuff like that, because that's something that I got into in 2025. By the way, it is 2026 as I'm making this, which is very cool. And on that note, so you know, like people are like, oh, New Year's resolutions, this, that, the other. I used to always have a bucket list for New Year. So like, I want to try this, I want to do this, I want to do that. And I haven't made it yet, but I was just thinking, I was like, what do I want to try? And this Christmas was the first Christmas in ages that I wrote everyone Christmas cards. And sent them. And normally I'm not like a massive card person. Like I always used to think like, what's the point? What is the point? Because you throw it in the bin, people don't keep them as keepsakes, they're not really that useful until, and I'll have to show you this, I got this card. So my friends Tyler and Jace got me this card. So this, I'm very into, as you can see by my crystal necklace and the tarot cards, tapestries, and the moon. Wow, I'm a walking cliche, but I'm very into like spirituality and astrology and stuff like that. And my big three is Leo. No, so I'm a Sagittarius, I'm a Leo rising, I'm a Scorpio moon, and they drew the constellation of all three of them and then put at the bottom, the stars will always align for you. And you know what? I actually keep this at my desk, which I sometimes record at, and sometimes I look and I'm like, no, they really do. And just like a lovely message inside. And I got this and it was so heartwarming. And my friend Katie gave me a card and that was so heartwarming that I was like, oh, I'm gonna do Christmas cards. And I got some Christmas cards in return as well. But people were sending me pictures of the Christmas card on the display of their Christmas card. They were sending me, some people were, the inside of the Christmas card. And my handwriting is awful. It is literally chicken scratch. I don't know what that means, but I've heard it somewhere, so I'm going to use it. But it's awful. So I was like, okay, cool. I want to get into getting better handwriting, because when I was younger, I was kind of like, when I say younger, I mean like literally like 8. I was kind of like a perfectionist. So I used to get, my dad used to work in a corner shop, and my dad used to own the corner shop, and he'd be at the till serving people, and I would get him to write different maths equations. So like, you know, like 9 times, I don't know, and then I'd have to do it. And then I'd be like, did I get them right? And he'd be like, yeah. And another thing I would do is I would practice my handwriting, because my handwriting was awful as a kid. It still is bad, but not as bad, hopefully. And I was on TikTok last night and I was like, how can I get better handwriting? And I found this girl, I think she's called Essay Notes without the one of the letters in it. And she has a whole like tutorial YouTube video. It's not in a playlist, which is quite annoying, but I can find them. So I have this journal that I've had for a while, this like notebook. It says University of Bradford School of Management on it. I did not go to the University of Bradford School of Management. I went to the University of West London, Claude Littner Business School. So, you know, I don't want to get, I don't want to let my team down, but I've had this and I thought, why not use it? So at first, can you see? I'm hoping you can say. At first, you practice with your actual handwriting. So you do all lowercase letters, uppercase letters, and then you write a sentence. It says, "The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog," which drag lazy. And so I've done that, and then the next step is to like print out a page of like handwriting that you like. So go on literally Microsoft and like do the same with different text that you like, and then trace it, and then try and get your handwriting to be like the one that you like. So I'm looking forward to that. Anyway, reading wise, I'm on to Kamala Harris's book. I find it very sweet. At the moment, she's talking about her upbringing, kind of giving context on who she is. She does paint a really good picture of what it's like growing up for her, her mum, and her sister Maya. So her, obviously Kamala Harris, we know her. Her mum's called Shamala, which, come on now, like I love that she was like, I'm Shamala, my kid's gonna be Kamala. And then her daughter, her youngest daughter, is called Maya. So we're really into that. We're really into that. And I love the fact that she's like, obviously an Indian woman raising two black daughters in America. And you really get an understanding of how the mother kept the daughters like so aware of their, you know, black heritage and who they are as black women, and like really engross them in that side of their culture as well as, you know, the Indian side, but then also like just made their childhood fun. Like there's one story that comes to mind, like she's like, my lunchbox used to be, not my lunchbox, the brown paper bag that she had a lunch in used to be like an experiment for my mom. She was a scientist in the kitchen, and the kids on the school bus used to ask like, what are you getting for lunch today? What have you packed? And she's like, not all of them were like hits, but some of them perfect. So I'm really enjoying that. It's just a sweet book. I'm gonna go actually on a little mini walk. Leave my house is what I mean. And I'm gonna listen to that, and that's all my handwriting practice out of the window today. That's all done. That's day one practice. Tomorrow I will be printing out the handwriting that I like. I guess it's like Calibri and stuff like that. But because this could be better. This could be better. It looks awful for me, at least. And yeah, we shall see. We shall see. I think it's just one of those things. I hate to say it's a cliche, but practice makes perfect, and the more I try, the better it will be. I also recently, yesterday, re-downloaded Duolingo because I love being able to speak a language. Like when I went to Spain last year and I could speak Spanish half decent, I was like, get into it. Duolingo, we love that. So yeah, I will see you guys later. Hiya everyone. So this is my last check-in of the video. I'm officially done with Kamala Harris's first book, and I really enjoyed this. I'm not gonna lie. Just the way she writes is something I actually really picked on, and like the storytelling that she does is really good. I mean, she does have the experience from being a lawyer. Like I was thinking, like the way she speaks to audiences and the pauses that she takes to like register with the audience their reaction is something I can actually see a lawyer doing with the jury. So I can understand why she does that way of like public speaking, but some of that crept into her storytelling as well in this book. But I found this so interesting. I found it really, really interesting. And I think the main thing that stood out is just the amount of knowledge and experience that she has. She has such a vast experience and knowledge about like every part of like the legal system, but then also American society. And I think she's really good at like working relentlessly. So she's like advocating in all of her work she's doing, and she describes in this book, but she's doing that until there is a just like end to it. So that made me really respect her, but also it made me really involved in the book. And she talks about stuff like her mother and that relationship, which I found very sweet. Also, I think it is very, very iconic that her mother, Shamala, had a daughter and called her Kamala. Like, I think that's really iconic. So this has been really interesting because I've loved Philippa Gregory before. I gave that 3 stars. I gave Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid a 4.5, and I ended up giving Kamala Harris a 4 stars. So I don't know what the average is there, but no one got a 5, which is quite interesting. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed that video, and as always, please do like, comment, and subscribe. But for now, bye.